Mr. Okreku has not done enough to galvanize our team, one, from internal divisions. Let me tell you, we were on the verge of a fan revolt at the AFCON.
Wow.
No, I'm telling you. And see, there were calm heads who were there. Hold on, I'm telling you, there were calm heads who were there to see to the fact that the situation would not escalate. But the fans of the club, let me tell you something. Do you know how long these fans have been traveling with the team? Some of them have traveled with the team for as long as a decade.
For more than 20
Look,
years.
I'll show you.
One man has been going with the team over 25 years.
I know him.
There was literally a fan revolt. And if you saw the Ghana one-man supporter, Yeboah, I don't know if you know him, but he had a lot of placards where his messages say, one of the things he says here is, I told you that the coach can't help us. We miss his baby jet. Pardon the grammar.
Yeah.
There were other placards where he said, Coach, do your changes early. Stuff like that. To the point where these fans were pinpointing certain players within the team and saying that these players are holding us back. Now, let me finish. Let me just land on Mr. Okreku. Like I'm saying, look, give people around you the power to do work. Let people speak to you. Let people give you advice. Do not take decisions on your own consistently.
Mr. No.
Listen, it does not work. Nobody works like that. Nobody succeeds like that. Leadership point number 2. The players. DEDE Ayew, Thomas Partey. DEDE Ayew is the Black Stars captain. Thomas is the assistant captain. Now, DEDE Ayew has played for the national team for how long? 15 years?
Close to 13, at least 13 years.
At least 13 years.
13 years.
13 years.
It's time to move away from ego-centered leadership.
Is an end of
Coach,
an era. Me, I'll say it here today.
Let me land. Look, DEDE Ayew has been captain of the Black Stars for 2 AFCONs, right? And like I tell you, there was a point where Ghanaians understood that we were African football royalty, to the point where when we were going to an AFCON, we expected that minimum and worst case scenario would make a semi-final. We went to Egypt and exited at the round of 16. There were reports that there were rifts within the team. We've always swept them under the rug and acted like nothing was happening. Good. We've gone to Cameroon and we've exited at the group stage. Look, let me tell you something. When you are a leader, you need to put aside the pageantry. You need to put aside the gallery shows, the slapping of the chest, the running and the waving of. It's not important to us. What is important to us is that I noticed at the tournament that the coach was not going to help the team. Now, do you know what athletes do? Athletes are most often than not smarter than most journalists think they are. Sometimes when an athlete cannot speak good English or cannot express themselves, a lot of journalists seem to think that they are not smart enough. But you see, athletes are very, very smart people, and athletes are just like you and I. They work, they have emotions, they deal with external factors like family, they deal with external issues like money and needs. And so everything is at play when you are in the national team. And that's why people give a lot of props to a guy like Stephen Appiah. I'll tell you something, right? I've seen enough up close with the Black Stars to know that Stephen Appiah, yes, was a great captain for Ghana, but we overbeat it because they didn't win anything. Your leadership is supposed to give us a clear template to something that somebody else can borrow and run with. You understand? They didn't win anything. There were rifts within that camp. They just didn't get blown up because the media is not as dominant as it is now. Now, you, Andrea, you have the benefit of the media. You have the benefit of PR people to defend you. Look, he did not display good leadership. I'll tell you something about the last game against Comoros. There was a lineup that was put out there for the Black Stars, and Dreams FC's Philemon Baffour was supposed to be in that team. DEDE Ayew, the captain, impressed on the coach that Philemon Baffour was not good enough to play in that game. He did not deem Philemon Baffour good enough to play in that game. I'm telling you this on authority. Good, let's put that aside. within the team itself, are you aware that after the second game against Gabon, half the players were ready to down tools and leave?
No.
Listen, coach, let me tell you why. The players believed within themselves that no matter how hard they worked in training, no matter how hard they did at performance drills, or no matter how successful they were, the coach would not make changes, and that the coach would tailor his game to Andre Ayew and his brother Jordan Ayew. Look, you might think that it's a personal vendetta. I don't have anything against the Ayews. In fact, some people, when you talk about the Ayew, say that you hate the Ayew brothers, blah, blah, blah. Look, if I got a lot more Ghanaian players who would be like the Ayews, driving Bentleys, playing for big teams, and making it big in the world. But you see, when it comes to the leadership of our team, it goes beyond your personal glory and your personal satisfaction as a player. If you were watching the Black Stars games, I'll start from Kamaldeen Sulemana. There were a lot of times in that first game when I'm watching a close range where he's asking for a pass, and your captain looks around, and only passes the ball when it's a measure of last resort. Yes. That is unacceptable. Now, for a national team that says that it has 17 debutants or whatnot and wants to advance, you cannot tell me that you are trying to win an AFCON and you are tailoring your game after a 33 or 34-year-old who's played for 14 years. You are not serious. You don't mean business. You will give a player 3 90-minute games where he has not a single shot on target. First game, no shot on target. Second game, no shot on target. Third game, no shot on target. But he will play in every single game because he wields a certain amount of power. Listen, Andre Ayew should understand that if he's a real leader, if he goeth to the next AFCON, to borrow your words. Hold on. Andre Ayew is not the kind of player we can just brush aside and say retire out of the blue, because he's not finished. He's not finished. But if he's a real leader, Andre Ayew needs to sit, reflect, and tell himself that I need to be able to be used as an impact sub if I'm to help my team. He says that this team has young potential that is capable of doing it with the best of them. We talk about transition every day. This is our time to do transition. Look, in that game against Comoros, Milovan Rahivac was scared to take up Jordan Ayew. And it was evident because Abdul Fattah Isahaku was literally Ghana's best player up to the point. Good. Come back to the first game.
This may seem strange, but if you're slowly losing your eyesight, stop eating these foods immediately. Harvard science.
That game where Joseph Painter was literally Ghana's best player on the park. Everybody could see it but the coach. And then you start a second game and you ask the player, and he says that it is likely the coach will drop him for no explainable reason. Now, at the national team, you need to understand again that athletes are people. If I have played a stellar game, Daniel can see it, Fent can see it, Nathan can see it, everybody can see it. And when you drop a player like that, you begin to create whispers within the team.
Exactly.
Good. Now, go to that Gabonese game, right? I say, and I've heard a lot of commentary around that situation. I say that the turning point for Ghana at the AFCON, was Andre Ayew not passing that ball to Joseph Painter. I'm telling you, look, at that point, Ghana needs a second goal. Possibly will go on to first 3 points of the competition. Yes, Joseph could have missed that chance, but pass him the ball. If you look at that, if you freeze that frame again, right? His body posture is looking directly at the player.
Yes. And then
his line of vision is looking directly at the player, but he decides to turn on his weaker foot to go up against two players. That is unacceptable. The only way Andre Ayew can defend this is to tell us that his footballing ability would not have allowed him to make that pass, and that is a lie. Let's put that issue aside.
At least attempt it.
Coach, hold on. Let me tell you where I realized that the mentality of this team was finished. Now, when that incident was over and the game ended, we were waiting for the presser to begin. And I think they called me on that night because there was a panorama show on that night.
Yes.
Look, he was yelling obscenities that I cannot speak on this show. in the background. At who? At the media people who were ushering him in, at the CAF officials, at the Gabonese players, at anybody that would listen. And I know for a fact that he knows that that was a smokescreen. Ghana talking about fair play. Are you kidding me? You are playing a football game against an opponent that wants a goal as much as you want it. And you think that they should pass you the ball because it is your right? That is your mentality as an elite team? Listen, DEDE Ayew needs to understand, and I'm hammering on it again. If he's a leader like he says he is, he should accept to go to the next AFCON as an impact sub. That is what he should do. That is what will benefit this team. Thomas Partey. Listen, I'm not sure what that extra captain's armband that popped up was all about. The blue band that popped up when DEDE Ayew went out. It generated a whole lot of it generated a whole lot of unnecessary conversation.
Went from blue to green.
He didn't play good at the AFCON, but you see, even at his worst, he provided 2 assists, and that should tell him how important he is to this country. He came back, barely rested, and went and picked up a red card for Arsenal. That was a man that was frustrated. And if you know Thomas, he's not the type of guy to voice out his frustrations. He will rather bottle it up until it implodes in a red card like it did. He needs to understand that if he was not a big player, if he was not star caliber, Arsenal will not share out 50 million for you. Arsenal, 50
or
million.
send a private jet to Cameroon.
Arsenal to spend 50 million on you. You need to take responsibility. You see, all this undercurrents of tension and factionalism, these are the things that destroy a national team. I was listening to Kevin Prince Boateng and it was played on City Sports. He said it sincerely. In the 2010 World Cup, Ghana did have a good team, but it was not an exceptional team. They won because individuals set their egos aside for the collective good of the group. In 2014, we had better quality. Look at what happened. The team were all over the place. In this competition, it is a lack of unity, first of all, that destroyed the Black Stars. Because you could see players in obvious positions, they will not pass each other the ball. When they come out to press conferences, they give us nice responses and they think that we'll go away and be happy and not see what is happening with the team. You come out angry and talk about fair play and throw tantrums because you have wasted a clear opportunity to have given your country a clear chance to win a game. That for me was a leadership failure. Now, let me come to the fans. Right? Let me come to the fans. The fans have a big role to play, obviously, as far as football is concerned and our team is concerned.
You mean those who were in Cameroon or us?
Everybody. Everybody.
Okay.
From the people listening to Panorama now to the fans that were there.
Yes,
look,
please address
fans
us.
need to understand that, like I said, athletes are human beings.
Thank you, my brother.
Athletes have blood. They drink water like you and I. They will not always have a good day. But you need to put your support behind your team and understand that bad days will come. But unfortunately for our fans, they have had to deal with bad days for too long as far as the Black Stars are concerned. They have had to deal with the same issues of individualism destroying the unity of the team for far too long. First, it was Asamoah Gyan and DEDE Ayew. Then now, DEDE Ayew again, and seemingly Partey and Kudus. And the team does not need that type of drama. Right now, there is talk of leaders of the new school. Ishahaku, Kamaldeen, and what's his name? Mohamed Kudus. Also beginning to form their own little clique within the team. These things are absolute nonsense. The Black Stars will never ever thrive with these type of things. Because look, coach, and I'm telling you this because players will tell you that they feel bitter about the team they are playing for because somebody is doing things this way. Now, if you are a captain, you set the tone by doing what? If we have a meeting, you come early. You don't set a meeting as a captain at 10 o'clock and appear at 10:15. And then when we lose a game where you are red carded, that red card was a sham anyway. But still, you apologize to your teammates. You don't come to your teammates after the tournament is over and you've been poor and tell them that everybody should go back to their team and grind harder. Who are you? Who are you to tell anybody to grind harder? after the poor showing you've put up, who are you to tell anybody to grind harder? The players who deserve to play, we don't give them a chance to play. And I'm saying this again, look, we've always made fun about Philemon Baffour on this show. I'm telling you that based on what we saw Andy Yadom do at the AFCON, Philemon Baffour can certainly not be worse than that. I'm being very serious. Philemon Baffour cannot be any worse than what we saw Andy. And Andy Yadom was injured in the competition. He was injured after the game against Gabon. He gestured to Milo to substitute him. He didn't. Kovic, same thing happened with him. He was injured. He gestured, take me out of the game. They didn't take him out of the game. You know why? Because we didn't have enough cover that was trusted to cover for those guys. Mubarak Wakaso. Wicked waste of space and resources. Just wasted our national resources. They knew that Wakaso would not play, but Wakaso went to the AFCON and did run around the training pitch until Ghana was eliminated. This is how you kill a national team. You kill a national team when players know within the group who merits to play, but you will not select them. You will make dire last-minute changes to your lineups to accommodate your leaders' wishes. A team that wants to win an AFCON, I'll just finish with this. Look, a team that wants to win an AFCON cannot tailor its game around somebody who has spent 13 years in the team and is 34 years old. It will not work. You have 17 debutants. That is the writing on the wall for you. That is the writing on the wall to turn your team around. Now, I want to tell that, look, whilst we were at the AFCON, and I'll wrap it up very soon. Whilst we were at the AFCON, you know what's spoiling our team? Agenda setting and interest everywhere. Look, players and journalists are not interested in the well-being of the national team. They are interested in setting an agenda for their player who is giving them money, or who who they've published stories for. Setting agenda.
Say it.
Look, it's wrecking our national team. The truth is that these things, these little things that happen around our national team, you will never ever progress like this. Players need to be happy to play with each other. Players need to be able to tell each other on the pitch in the huddle that, look, we might have trained for 1 week and the coach's tactics do not help us. We know within ourselves what our strengths are. If you are a leader or there are leaders in the team, they can go out there and play a game that is worthy of mention. Ghana only played 70 minutes of good football at the last AFCON, and that was after our captain was sent off. You know why? It wasn't because he was not in the game or whatever. It was because at that point we realized that embarrassment was staring us in the face. And that is when we woke up. You do not need that type of wake-up call. You do not need to necessarily just sack a Milo to make a change in your national team. You need to start taking a look at the culture of your team. The culture of this Black Stars does not promote meritocracy. It does not care how good you are. Once there are interests at play, your performance and your skill and your technique will be put in the background. You will not succeed like this as a national team. And for the players and their poor performance, apology and gratitude is important. The one thing though, I just want to conclude with is that, look, when you are an egocentric leader, when the fall is coming, you will see it from afar. That's the funny but factual thing about egocentric leadership. You will see it. You will exit at the round of 16. You will exit at the group stage. You will hire coaches that will take your money and will not produce results. You will see the writing on the wall. If you see it and you want to take the right path, it is up to you. But if you are on your knees and you will not get up and you will let your head be cut off, it is also up to you.